the channel today, you joined me from the driver's seat of one of my personal favourite cars ever. And I've never driven one, so this is the first time I've ever taken one of these out. Massive thank you to Daniel. I'll put his Instagram and a link to his website down below and on the screen right now. You need to go and check this guy's cars out, honestly. But this is one of them. This is the one I'm going to focus on today. It's a 1999 Mazda RX7 FD. It's the RS variant of the model line, and I am so excited. Like I am a kid at Christmas waiting to see what this car is like. So we're going to find some awesome roads. Pretty much a completely standard, fresh out the factory car. It's had brand new turbos, completely rebuilt engine. I really want to see what the rotary life is like today by taking this for a good drive and just enjoying it. So onwards to some bloody good driving roads and some twin turbo magic. Let's do this. So a basic rundown of this car, it's a 5-speed 13B twin turbo RX7 FD from 1999. This was dynoed at 315 brake horsepower, but after that it's had a complete engine rebuild, brand new turbos, pretty much everything is brand new on this car. So it's probably producing a little bit more brake horsepower than that, but we're going to go with 315 brake horsepower. Now I have to underline that these are 1,280 kilos from the factory. That lightweight coupled with 315 brake horsepower, a very revvy engine, it revs all the way around to 8,000 RPM, sequential turbos. It is a mind-blowing recipe for a bloody good time. So the first turbo sort of kicks in about 2,000 RPM. Your second one will come in at about 4,500 RPM. That engine makes for a good talking point at the start of this, because that is the main focus of why I've wanted to drive one of these. I wanted to feel what these rotary engines have to offer. The reviness of that engine is a phenomenal package to have together. It's the RS model, so it has Bilstein suspension from the factory, it has bigger brakes. What you got to remember is when this car really came out, it was the Japanese equivalent of a supercar. This was the supercar killer from Japan. It was a step forward really in what was possible from a 1.3 litre, yeah, 1.3 litre engine this is. Yes, it's a Wankel, it's a Wankel engine, so yes, it is really 2.6, don't get me wrong. We are coming to one of my favourite roads on the island. It's called Cowley's, and we all need to drive a beautiful car like this down here. So first and second turbo there. Do you know, it's so light on its feet, this car. It revs incredibly quick as well. You know, considering this is pretty much factory package we're talking here, you know, the gentleman's agreement of being, you know, 260, 270 brake horsepower is basically all eyes. There's no way that this was 280 brake horsepower when it left the factory. You know, this one's been dynoed, yeah, at 315 as a standard car. Oh, do you know, the first thing I'm really taken away is the lightness. The lightness. This generation, even the Supra was, you know, it was relatively heavy. You know, a GTO of this era as well is incredibly heavy. You know, V6, it's got a heavy engine. This, you know, rotary is so lightweight, and then you put it in a lightweight body as well. Incredibly revvy engine, pitches perfect round corners, and you have that instant throttle response as well as, you know, turbo response with there being a sequential turbo setup. The first turbo comes in and gives you that punch, and then the second one comes in to really punch you. Yeah. That is the perfect setup from a standard car, is it being lightweight and it having the two turbos. You know, you're not waiting for boost response whatsoever. It's there waiting for you at 2,000 RPM. Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. What a poised drive, the precision, I've got to say, the preciseness of the steering, the preciseness of the power as it comes on. Little squirrel from the back end. Wow, 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 wow. Yep, this is as good as I thought it was going to be. Wow, all day long, wow. It is bite your lip excitement. Now, I've got to say, it lives up to the hype. When you are looking at these on the internet, they are incredibly expensive now, you know, and you hear the horror stories of everyone saying that these things happen to them, they blow up, this happens, it consumes oil. It's going to consume oil, it's a rotary engine, you need to get on board with that. If you keep up the maintenance, this one is meticulously maintained by its owner. That's why it is so good to drive. It is never failed in, from the 7 years he's owned this car, it has never failed once. It's because he's kept on board with, you know, the fact that, yeah, let's get the turbos done, let's make sure the engine is always topped up and perfectly running every time he takes it out. And that shows from the drive. There is absolutely no worries. It boosts just so well. What a phenomenal car, phenomenal car. Words can never describe how a car feels, and this is light on its feet. It boosts so quickly and so just formally, like, yep, here's the power, right, you don't want any power, here's some really good brakes, instead the brakes arc because they're the bigger ones. Absolutely fantastic. God, this car is so good. It is so good. So guys, I've just pulled over to have a quick look around this thing. The most picturesque location ever, right next to one of the best roads on the island behind me. But let's have a quick look around this Mazda RX7. Now, you guys know I'm absolutely in love with this thing. We're going to go through the styling first. I love the shape of this thing, the sort of long bonnet with the swooping back, pop-up headlights as well, so it sort of disguises the lights at the front. This being a facelift as well, it has the facelift front bumper with the sort of tinted side lights there with the indicators in. This has fog lights just down here as well that have been put in, and this front splitter as well, because it's the RS model, comes with this. This is a brand new splitter as well. The original one that came from Japan with this car was actually painted white, but I think I prefer the textured black on this one. Coming up though, it's just such a beautiful looking car, it really is. Mazda badges at the front, all sort of original look. The original wheels as well, RS wheels down here with the bigger brakes behind them as well. The swoop of the bonnet you can really see in this sort of angle, just curves down with that front nose cone just going down as well. Such a cool look. Coming to the side of the car, the handles are actually here, which is such a cool thing. Again, completely flushing that side of the car. And coming around to the back as well, RS spoiler on this one. It has an aftermarket exhaust, cat back, just to update it, give it a little bit more of a burble, but that is literally the only thing that's been done to this car. Other than that, it is completely standard. I do love the back of these though, with the tinted light just going over. It's just such a cool look. You don't get these looks from newer cars these days. Coming to the back bumper, it has a sort of stuck out bit as well, which you don't really notice until you actually get up close and personal with one. This is so original, it still has the wiper on it as well, which a lot of people usually flush out and take off these, but I actually quite like the original look with that still on there. Side markers going down the side. It's just such a beautiful looking car, and with this scenery as well. I mean, look how good this scenery is. Now, coming into the boot of this car, this has the Bose acoustic soundwave music system in the back. This is basically a subwoofer that they put in back in the day. Really long sort of tubes going around. You do have a spare wheel underneath here as well, so you have to take all of this out to actually get to it, but all original with the speakers actually coming up into the parcel shelf there. But again, sort of enough space for maybe one suitcase. It actually does have these cool little bits in here as well. You have all the tools just down there. Very Japanese of them to have them in such a nice location. And it does have them this side as well. You do have a chock as well, which is the first time I've seen one in a car in years. I can't remember the last time I actually saw a factory chock in one of these cars. Again, all completely original and absolutely mint at the same time. Coming into the inside of the car, I love the sort of door look, quite simple. I do have to point out these are usually broken. These little ashtrays, that one there and that one in the center, these are usually broken and are incredibly expensive to get from parts. So new old stock ones been put in, so they are basically brand new from the factory. I mean, look at that leverage, fantastic. This actually came with a drift dished steering wheel as well, so a Nardi original one has been sourced and put in this one as well. Coming in though, you've got such a small cockpit in these, you don't really notice it on video. And as you can see, everything sort of wraps around the driver, so the door wraps round, the sort of center console wraps down with the higher transmission tunnel, so you have somewhere to put your arm, but then aggressively change gear at the same time. You do have a black headliner in this as well, and as you can see, it actually has dents in the headliner and in the roof, because as you come up, you can't quite notice it. There is actually humps in the roof, which is again something that's never been pointed out to me until I actually noticed them in person and then inside the car. This being an RS as well, if we just release this, we release this bit and pull this seat forward, it actually has back seats which are leather. Now the Toyota Supra again has the same sort of style where they're a leather rear with a cloth front to sort of keep you in the car, but this being an RS actually has rear seats. But as you can see in my driving position, which is pretty much everyone's driving position because it's so small in here, there's no way you're getting people in the back of that. Although they are very deep, these rear seats, you pretty much have to cut people's legs off to get in. Very cool feature though to have the rear seats in this one, again completely original. Jumping in the RX7, coming in you have the center dials, so the center one being the rev counter, you have the speedo this side, you have a temperature gauge, fuel gauge and boost gauge just there in front of you. You have this high transmission tunnel, which means changing gear is an absolute delight with this really short throw notchy gear stick. You have your heating controls and everything there. This one actually still has AC in it as well, which is a thing, you know, completely standard. This would have come with AC, it works absolutely perfectly. And I've got to point this out as well, it still has the road flare right there from Japan still in this car. Such a cool feature. But that's enough of talking about this car, let's get back on the road, go and enjoy that rotary. Even down to the gear change, the notch of that gear, it's got quite tall gears because the rev range goes right round to 8,000 RPM, so you know your second gear, even at say 30 miles an hour, you're only at 3,000 RPM, so you do have all of the rev range to go. Oh, it's so good. If you've ever lusted for one of these like I have and you've wanted to drive one, get yourself in one. Honestly, this is one of the best driving experiences you can have today. I'm lost for words at how good this car is. It's blown my expectations. No review I've seen on the internet has ever shown me how good this is in person. It's like nothing else. And you know, because it isn't too modified, it's not unreliable, and it's not, you know, producing silly brake horsepower, but it's not giving you the problems that silly brake horsepower gives you. It's not giving you the brah 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 brah, which is what you get from other videos on the internet. You know, you'll get the drift cars that are 700 brake horsepower rotaries and stuff, but this is the usable car, the factory car that it came out being. You know, it wanted to be the daily driver. This was a daily driver up until a couple of years ago, and it is still used, you know, as much as it can be. And I can completely see why. Leaving it at this sort of power, this sort of, you know, factory standard, means that you get to enjoy it for what it was really built for. Mazda wanted this to be the sports car, wanted it to be the, you know, progressive, exciting car that it is today. In 2018, I'm able to enjoy this car. It's as if I've picked up the Mazda press car in 1999 and I'm driving it now. That's how this feels. It feels like it's brand new, like it's just left the factory, like I can enjoy it to its full potential, not worrying about it, you know, exploding and this happening and the oil falling out, because it's not that car. It's the car it said it was on paper, and it said it was when it left the factory. And that has a lot to be said, because the worry of you owning one of these will always be there. But me driving this one, I can't see it. It boosts and it drives just phenomenally. Price hike that you've seen in the past couple of years through these, you know, is understandable, and they're becoming rarer by the day. Especially this RS facelift model, it's a rare car now. And these are the days where I really enjoy my job, and I enjoy what I do in the videos that I make, because I'm able to meet owners of these cars that meticulously love them. You know, this is a 7-year-old love affair. And you get to go and enjoy it down unbelievable roads. Oh, so good. This is one of those cars that just ticks boxes all day long. Absolutely mind-blowing performance. That gear change, you're coming down and over a swoop into third gear, use those big brakes, swoop round, come down again into second. Oh, it's just a serious bit of kit, this. What a car. It revs so quickly again down into second gear. Wow, wow, wow. I am blown away at how good this thing is. The little turbo gauge going like that as you come round. Oh, this road, this car is perfection. Motoring perfection. I am in love. I am declaring my love for the RX7. It's as good as I wanted it to be. In fact, it's better. It's better than I wanted it to be, and that is a hard sale these days, because I drive a lot of cars and not a lot of them get me fizzy inside, and this is the fizz factor right here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the fizziest factor I've experienced in a very, very long time. I'm coming away from the shoot knowing full well that they're as good as they say are. It does exactly what it says on the tin, this car. It is the JDM legend. It is a rotary powerhouse that's completely different to any other car that I've driven. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did like this video, please check out fydapparel.com, cop yourself some FYD merch to support the channel. That's how I'm able to make all of these awesome videos. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel for more car reviews, and I'll see you all on the next video. Cheers guys.